Hey everyone, it's Peyton. Welcome back to my channel. So if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. I'd really appreciate it. This channel is still in the very beginning, still starting out, so I would appreciate the support. I got lots of videos coming. Not too long ago, I posted a video on both my TikTok and my Instagram reels. Make sure you follow those, they're linked down below. Anyways, I posted a video on there reading my college essay, and I started off by saying how I got into every single college that I applied to. I'm in the state of Florida. I applied to 5 different colleges. I'm assuming they're probably gonna be on the thumbnail of this, so if you clicked on this, you're probably trying to get into one of these, or you're just curious and nosy about my scores and stuff like that. I figured I would do a video a little bit more in depth of not just my essay, which I will still be reading my essay in case you're not following and you're coming across this for the first time and you're coming across me for the first time. Again, if you are, make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow my other socials. My Starbucks, and I'm ready. Let me first start off by saying that this video is not me trying to brag. I'm not sitting here telling you how much of a genius I am. I'm not sitting here trying to brag about the schools I got into. I'm very blessed and very fortunate, and I am by no means a genius. I worked very hard, and the only reason I'm making this is because when I posted that essay and announced where I was going to school on my other social medias, which I will say in this video as well, I got a lot of DMs like, hey, like what were your test scores, stuff like that, because Ivy League schools are difficult to get into, and obviously my essay wasn't enough, but I mean, I'll be reading my essay in here as well. I only applied to Florida schools because Florida offers a thing called Bright Futures where it covers your tuition if you hit a certain SAT score, or there's certain little tricks that you can get that scholarship from, and I was not lucky. Fortunate. I don't want to use the word lucky because it's like I worked for it, but I'm grateful that I was able to get 100% Bright Futures. So for my bachelor degree, I'll be staying in the state of Florida because I would be giving up free school if I went to a different school. I applied to 5 Florida schools and I got into all of them. I got into University of Florida, which is by far the biggest, and where I'm going, go Gators. I got into Florida State University. I got into the University of Central Florida. I got into Florida Atlantic University, University of North Florida. Now, obviously, some of these are more competitive than others. University of North Florida and Florida Atlantic University are a little bit less competitive. Let me get into why you guys are actually here. I'm sure you don't just want to hear about my life choices. To start off, I'm gonna read my essay at the end of this video, so if you're looking just for my essay, just because I already read it on my other social medias. First, I'm going to go into kind of my 4 years of schooling and what I did. I started taking high school courses in middle school, so I've always been in like advanced placement classes. So starting in middle school is when I started taking my Spanish credit. I was in Algebra 1, my 8th grade year, so I was a year ahead in math, and I took English 1 in 8th grade as well. So freshman year came, and there was a really cool thing in my school called the ACE program, which is from Cambridge, and it's a system where you take the minimum of 7 courses to get your diploma, your ACE diploma, not your high school diploma. So it's 7 courses. You have to take one called Global Perspectives, and there's certain criteria of courses you have to meet, like to hit a certain amount of like history ones and language ones and stuff like that. You have to take like 1 science at least, I think. So you have to hit certain criteria, but it's very flexible. My school happened to offer a lot of these classes. I ended up taking 9 of them and I passed all of them. They're very similar to an AP class where you have to pass a final at the end, but the finals are all written. So you can explain why you're right in a way, and you get points rather than AP tests where it's multiple choice, where it's either right or wrong, you don't get the points. ACE, you can write, and even if you are wrong, you can still get points because of the way that you wrote the essay. So that's a really cool thing about the program. Like I said, I ended up taking 9 of those courses, which I know that really helped my odds. I got 96 96 or 97 hours of community service, but they started for Bright Futures wise, they started taking work hours, and I've been working since I was 16, so I was fully covered for that, but the community service hours help as well. I was in student government my freshman year. I was in National Honor Society my sophomore and beginning of junior year. I only did 3 years of high school really, so I finished all of my high school credits by my junior year, and by the time senior year rolled around, I wasn't the biggest fan of high school, so I ended up staying completely off campus my senior year. I treated my junior year like my senior year, so a lot of my friends from being in advanced classes, they all graduated a year before me because those are the kids that I had classes with. I was just a year behind, but I was with them academically, so I ended up taking my senior year completely off campus, and I enrolled in dual enrollment in my community college, all online, so I was able to work. I ended up getting my personal training certificate. I just recently got my nutrition certification, which I'm super excited about. So all of these kind of extra things are really good to put on my application. Now, I will say, however, I took one AP course my entire time through high school, and that was AP Human Geography. And that was the year of COVID, so the AP test got taken online, and I failed it. So if you're looking for some super genius right now, I'm not. I got B's. My GPA weighted by the end of my senior year was a 4.3, I believe. So not crazy high. Not, obviously, I'm not gonna say it was low, because, I mean, it's above a 4.0, so. But a lot of Ivy League schools that are looking at, like, crazy. Yeah, I got B's. I got, I actually ended up my senior year, one of my dual enrollment classes at my college, I had a professor that moved the test date back on one of my tests, and I didn't notice that he moved it back, so I missed it. And when I reached out to him for making it up and realized I missed the date, he just replied to me that all grades were final, so I ended up getting a 0 for like an exam grade. So I actually ended up, I was like a straight A student my entire life, and then like senior year I really stopped caring about school, not gonna lie. And I ended up getting a D in that class because I missed the test. But like I said, not a super genius. I didn't dedicate my entire life to school. My junior year, definitely recommend putting in a lot of work your junior year. I took 5 ACE classes my junior year, and then the other 2 were honors. And this is just to preface, like, this video is just to really honestly point out that you don't have to be a genius. Like, you really, really don't. Now let's get into test scores. This is really gonna show you that you don't have to be a genius, because I really didn't do that well. ACT, I only took 1 ACT. I took my SAT like 4 times, I believe, or 3 or 4 times I took my SAT, and I obviously submitted my super scores for both, because like, well, I had to submit all of them, but like super scores were very useful because when I didn't do that well on my first SAT, I ended up taking it 2 more times, and each time I focused on just the math. So I would study really, really hard for the math one time, and then I would study really, really hard for the English time, so they took the super score. So, first let's go into ACT, where I sucked. I was so bad at the ACT. So, my total score for the ACT was a 24. In case you're wondering, it's out of 36. A lot of these Ivy League schools, when I hear these people getting in, they have like a 32. I got a 24, so that's cool. So I got a 24 in English on that. I got a 26 in math on that. I got a 25 in reading and a 22 on science. So I think science really screwed me over on that one. Science is my weakness, and which is funny because I'm going into a science major, but that's gonna be fun. Now let's talk about SAT, in which I did better. So my super score ended up being a 1280, which is still not crazy. Highest SAT reading was a 650, and then my highest for math was a 630. So that's where the 1280 came from on there. If you are putting every single ounce of your energy into your grades and you are stressing yourself out if you get a B or your test scores aren't perfect, I promise they look at other things outside of just that. So the clubs you're in, the sports you do. I played volleyball, I did weightlifting, and I did flag football. Outside of that, I obviously, like I said, I'm a personal trainer at my gym. I'm a manager there, which I'm sure also looks really, really good. So now, oh, let me tell you about my major, by the way. Like, I just switched my major. I actually just came back from my orientation at the University of Florida yesterday. I went in with a sports management major, and that's like what I got in for. And after orientation, I changed that real fast. I'm still in the same health department, but I changed it to health education and behaviors. So now I get to study health, nutrition, and psychology at the same time, which is like dream, because if you know me, I'm like, it's my passions, it's health. So mental health and physical health now. Also, I apologize if you hear the thunder, like it's thundering out there right now. So now I'm gonna read to you my essay. Let me tell you how nervous I was submitting this essay. I don't know what made me write my essay about how much I don't like school. But yeah, you heard that right. I wrote my essay about how I don't like the school system. But then I also wrote about how fitness changed my life. I spent most of my school career focused on the wrong side of education. I did everything I needed to check off all the boxes in order to get into a good school and go off my own to take part in the American dream. Putting myself in classes I had no interest in just for a GPA boost, playing multiple sports so it looks like I'm involved, and trying to get leadership positions so I appear as a leader. In reality, wouldn't trying to be a leader make me a follower? This past year changed my perspective on how I should have been absorbing my education all of this time. While I understand the importance of GPA, test scores, and participating in clubs, I found myself engulfed in these things just trying to fit the criteria. I even began to complete my community service hours simply just to put on my application. Charity, a selfless act. Somehow the idea of checking all of the right boxes turned it into a selfish act. I began to lose sight of what's important to me. My goal in life is simple. I want to help people. I want to inspire others to be a light. I want to inspire others and be a light for people who may not see one. I had a teacher in high school who I looked up to greatly. He once told me that passion can be defined as something that you love so much that you don't understand why everyone doesn't feel the way you do about that thing. That thing for me is personal development and health. Saying that fitness changed my life is an understatement. My whole childhood into my teenage years, I grew up obese. As you can imagine, this took a toll on my confidence, mental health, and performance in everyday tasks. My fitness journey is something that I could speak on for hours, and if this weren't virtual, I guarantee you'd see my eyes light up when I speak. When I lost the weight, I assumed everything would be better and everything I struggled with would no longer exist. This was far from the truth, as I found myself with an eating disorder and developing very unhealthy habits that took over my life. It was detrimental to my mental health. One day, I decided to join a gym and started to lift weights, the best decision of my life. I've healed my relationship with food, exercise, and most importantly, my relationship with myself. As well as this, after joining the gym, I found myself getting into personal development as a whole, reading countless amounts of books, listening to podcasts, and spending more time figuring out exactly who I am and what I want out of life. Without necessarily trying, I found my love for learning again. The same kind of excitement I had when I was little and discovering new things in the world. Some call it finding yourself. Now I want nothing more than to help other people find themselves and work towards becoming the best person that they can be. I believe I'm alive every day just trying to become the best version of myself that God put me here to be, to help others find their purpose and passions. I genuinely believe that changing the world begins with changing yourself. I want to make a difference in my time here. I want to continue my education to continue to better myself in whole new aspects of life so I can carry it with me to help others along the way. Education is a gift that I will never take for granted again. So, as you can see, not your typical college essay. I'm not gonna lie, I was really nervous about that one because, one, I started off by saying I think the algorithm of college is stupid because GPA and test scores don't define someone. Second, I mentioned God, and today's society is literal. About that, which, whatever, I will not be ashamed of that, so I had no problem putting it in my essay, but I was a little nervous about that. If you got nothing else from this video, I hope it made you feel a little bit better about grades and stuff like that. Yes, work hard, put in the work. You're not gonna get into your dreams. I mean, depending on what your dream school is, but like if your dream school is an Ivy League, you're probably not gonna get in if you slack off and have like a 2.0 GPA. Like you probably just won't. Let me be realistic with you, but it is not the end of the world. You don't have to have a 4.7. You don't have to have a 1500 SAT score. You don't have to get perfect ACT scores. Does that stuff help? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, but they're looking for well-rounded people. So if school is your only thing, there's a chance you might not get accepted because they want someone who's gonna join clubs and be in sports and is just a well-rounded person, is focused on community. So they're looking for those community service hours. They're looking for employment outside of school. They're looking for clubs, sports, extracurriculars. They're looking at your essay. They're looking at letters of recommendation. That's gonna conclude this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe down below. Follow my other socials. They're always in the description. Like I said, this video was not me bragging. I got DMs asking about this stuff, so I figured I would post it. And also, I know a lot of people stress about, like I said, being perfect, and that's not what they're looking for. I mean, I'm not an administrator at a college, so I can't tell you what they're looking for, honestly. Like I said, I hope this brings comfort to someone that you don't have to be a genius to get in. I'll see you guys in my next video.